I hope you're all doing very, very well this morning. I thought I'd just do a different kind of stream today. Just chill outside, a little less formal, and we have a nice little chat. Not great news this morning coming from Damasio that Paul Pogba has zero intention of renewing his deal with Manchester United. He wants to leave, and according to the Italian outlet, it is Juventus that he has his sights set on rejoining. And this couples in very, very nicely and almost very neatly with a lot of reports coming out of Italy in the last few days that Juventus have offered the likes of Paulo Dybala and a number of other players to Manchester United Football Club as almost a make-weight. Nice studio. Oh, I just broke my clip. That's annoying. That's frustrating, so I don't have a clip anymore. But there we go. Anyway, we'll move away from that. Yeah, smash that like button for the old format. Yeah, absolutely. So it's Man United have been offered a number of players from Juve in the last few days. Paul Pogba has reportedly informed Manchester United that he has no intention of signing a new deal. If this is true, it is highly likely that Paul Pogba could leave this summer for Manchester United to try and recoup some money, get a level of income into the football club to go towards a replacement. But who comes in? Red Devils advocate here of a super chat says, as of mid-February, United had a 50% win rate when Pogba was in the team and an 88% win ratio without him in the team. Just let that sit for a while. Mukmatic and Frederick win more games than Pogba interest him. And look, I understand those kind of super chats. I understand those sorts of trains of thought in relation to Paul Pogba. But for me, him and his quality is a necessity. So remove who Paul Pogba is. The win ratios with or without a player. I'd have to look at the statistics around them. How many of the big games do we win without him as an example? Is that win ratio without Paul Pogba sustainable? You'd also find as well within that are games where he was rested and not played anyway. So we'll rest him for a game against a nobody in the League Cups and we win it. So that's 100% tick there. He may miss out in a lot of the games against the smaller teams when we rotate, so it can manipulate it slightly. For me, Paul Pogba is a necessity. This news this morning that he may be leaving this summer, that he has reportedly told Man United that he has no intention of re-signing for the club, I think is really big news and damning news as well. What's the source? The source is Damasio. This is coming directly from Damasio, a credible source out of Italy, that this is what's going on. They're reporting on it primarily because they believe that Pogba is trying to angle a move back to Juventus, that he has great relationships there and great links there as well. I'm just looking at the space behind you and thinking of how you could make an outdoor bar. Oh, there is one. That's that thing there, bro. That was done last summer. Yes, my garden. Worked hard for it. Love it. I can't wait for the summer. Do you know what the main reason I picked this place when I was looking to buy somewhere is for the kids. Like, it's a lot of hard work to keep the garden like this. Like, the pool's a nightmare if I'm being honest with you, but the kids love it. Terry, do you believe everything you read? No, I don't necessarily believe everything I read. But the point of the Football Terrace is to bring you the stories, to bring you the information that the world is being told, to give you a platform to discuss it and go through it. If you think this is just posturing from, say, Pogba in his camp to get the best deal possible, then say that, as opposed to say, do you know what I mean? That's the point of these things. These are conversation starters for people to discuss. So yeah, it's not about I believe everything that I read. I think if you watch the Football Terrace, the United Stand, AFTV, when talking about stories, and think that we believe everything that's being said in the media, one, I don't think you're listening to a single word we say. Secondly, I think you have zero idea about why we set these channels up in the first place. And thirdly, you're probably being a deliberately obtuse in terms of that. It's a new show. Now, do you know what? In fairness, I used to stream outside quite a bit last summer. And we've got our announcement coming at the end of the week, and we will still do stuff like this. But I just thought this morning, just thought the iPhone, headphone mic, just chill in the garden, little cup of tea, and I'll have a chat with you as well. Damasio is 100% credible. He's Romano's mentor. Yeah, he was. There's no doubt about it. Listen, there's still an opportunity for Man United to turn things around, but with Pogba. But I keep getting this feeling deep down in my gut that he's going to go. And I think Pogba's fans think he's going to go. And we know this because they keep talking about how bad we're going to be when he leaves. You can almost sense, you get that sense of anxiety and frustration that it's coming, that he could be going, that he could be on his way out. Another super chat here from the Red Devil Down Under says, if I double this along with what Riola said the other day, I think this is a game. This is all game playing clubs. Sorry, let me reread that again. If I double this along with what Riola said the other day, I think this is all game playing. Clubs can't afford Pogba, so big wage increase incoming, and that could be it. That could fundamentally and legitimately be it. This could all be a play to get as much money as possible. We know contract renewals go like this. You know, we've seen Sergio Romero use Manchester United in the past. We've seen umpteen players use us for their own gain at the clubs they currently sit at. So it stands to reason that our own players would do that as well. There's zero doubt about it whatsoever. But make sure you're all smashing that like button this morning. Get in any questions that you want as well. We're here for the next half hour, 40 minutes or so. Thank you very much, Imran. I appreciate your lovely comments. It actually shows that so many new subscribers that we've had to the channel since last summer. If you're only just seeing the garden now, but thank you. Donny will get a chance. Yeah, that could be it. You know, Donny could step in and have his chance. You know, with Pogba leaving, of course I'd be gutted because Paul Pogba is a baller. Paul Pogba, in my opinion, is a world-class player. Paul Pogba, in my opinion, has delivered on so many occasions for Manchester United. There's no doubt. No doubt whatsoever. But my biggest fear is not him leaving. It's the Glazers and this board sanctioning the money to replace him with somebody of either as near equal quality as possible or someone that can come in who's effective. So Bruno Fernandes is not as good a football player as Paul Pogba. But, absolutely but, he's very effective at what he does. So it bridges the gap. And that's my fear, that we're not going to do that. Or it's one in, one out. Or one out, one in, really. So Pogba leaves and then Ndidi comes in, but then there's no additional quality added. And it's just we're always one step behind where we really need to be. That just doesn't, it's just back of my head, that just irks me. Terry, I would not be happy with a Jack Grealish replacement. It makes no sense. Get Verratti with Ndidi. Listen, I understand that sentiment, but the likelihood of landing Verratti is almost zero. So because Verratti is impossible, it's just not something I think about. It's something I don't think about. It's not something I want to put my... You know, we have to look at realistic... What I say to people is this. When it comes to transfers, you have to think about players that are attainable. And is it achievable and conceivable that we bring them into the football club? So you often hear people say things like, oh, we bought X centre-back. I can name 5 better centre-backs. They name 5 better centre-backs, but none of them are available or buyable for Man United. So it becomes an irrelevance. It becomes an irrelevance. And Verratti, not doable. Ndidi can be done. Basuma can be done. Now, there are obviously players on the continent that some of you know more about than me that can come in and replace him. It's about the club having the right ability. It's about the club scouting in the right way to bring in the right players that are needed. Some more super chats have come in here. Get your questions in this morning as well. We'll sit here and have a bit of an impromptu Q&A. First one says, you need to paint your fence white, bro. Melanat Bayard, I don't know what that word says. I'll do it for you for a fee of refunded super chats. Yeah, I ain't painting my fence white, bro. Like where I live, that wouldn't look. Nah, I wouldn't paint it white. But thank you for the offer, my bro. Pav says we have to buy a new keeper. It seems if David De Gea leaves with Romero's contract ending as well. By the way, this board has treated Romero like crap this last year. Yeah, I mean it's. If we end up with Justine Henderson and we then need a new goalkeeper, again, it's just more poor running of the club. And this is what I keep pointing out to people. And I haven't watched it yet, but I know Saeed's done a video talking all about like the Glazer protest. But all these things we're talking about this morning are all down to the way this football club has been run. You know, one of the reasons we didn't let Paul Pogba leave in the summer of 2019 is because we didn't get offered the right amount of money. And now we might lose him for less money than we got offered in that summer. Decision making. So poor at this football club. Tahir says, do you think clubs are reducing wages or not meeting players' expectations in where the club is going? The interesting thing is we've made the Champions League. Well, we haven't quite made the Champions League this year, but I think we will. We've made the Champions League 2 years running. So there's for the first time since Fergie left, we've got the two of the most consistent years of income that we've had, barring the fact that we've lost fans. But because we've lost fans for over a year, and money has of course been reduced. So it's my daughter banging on the window. Because money has been reduced, they're going to look to cut costs. Man United's owners are not like certain owners of other gargantuan clubs who would say, do you know what, we've lost money, we might end up losing players because we can't offer them the wages they want. Let me inject some of my own cash. Let me sell £80 million worth of shares. Actually, let's accumulate how much profit we've lost through not having fans at the club. Let's sell those shares and let's inject that money back into the football club so we can renew Pogba's contract, we can fix the holes in the roof, we can sign the players needed to move us forward. They're not going to do that. They will do what? They'll run it like a business, a standardized day-to-day normal business that doesn't have football at its heart, and they will reduce costs until they find the profitability coming back. So that's what was frustrating. I had a phone call come through. Sorry, for me, it's a case of that it's okay to run it like a normal business in certain circumstances, but that's the problem. Man United run it as a business for business purposes and profit and making money. However, what they don't do is run it with the football on the field being of the most paramount importance. And that's the problem. That's how it needs to be run if we want to be successful again. There's no doubt about it. Yes, nothing to do with my Wi-Fi. That was because my dad called, and he obviously doesn't know I'm streaming. And he's probably going to call again in a minute. He's just old, and he'll just keep calling, and then he'll call again, and then he'll call again, and then he'll call again. That's what he does. That's what the man does, seriously. But get someone more. Yes, enjoying the sun today. They sold their shares to get a new holiday home, and that's it. And listen, they are their shares. So, of course, they are legally and morally entitled to sell their shares and spend it on whatever they want. But it tells you what their focus is. And their focus will manifest itself on the pitch in the medium term. And it will manifest itself in terms of trophies and success in the long term. Which is why the Glazers and the board should always be the main focus of your gripe and of your attention. And if you tweet about Ollie 5 times a day and the Glazers just once, you are letting down your football club. Nice swim yesterday, Terry. No, my pool is heated, yes, but I didn't swim in it. It's not even been turned on yet. I'm having some plumbing, some new piping done for it to make the the filter system better. So that's being done Saturday. So yeah, it's not even turned on yet, and it'll take a couple of weeks to warm up. So if I jumped in that now, I don't know how cold that is, but I'd be ill. So yeah, I'm not I'm not gonna jump in that. Not even for no money. Jump in, I'll pay you. No, I'll probably get hypothermia if I jump in there, no doubt whatsoever. Terry, would you take relegation for the Glazers to do one? Yes, but the problem you have is I'd need to know who would buy it before I commit. I need all the variables to do the equation. If we get relegated and sell it and the new owners are just as bad, then no, I wouldn't. There needs to be that better owners get us back to the top. Mino Raiola has an interview bashing you, man. Paul didn't sign the contract. Coincidence? I think not. Maybe. Let's do some more comments here. I think Paul should stay because he is a lovely figure in the dressing room, and we need mentors like that. Do you know what? Listen, I want Paul Pogba to stay, but do you know what? If he wants out and he's got problems with the club in the same way we do, direction, the investment, how we're run, how the hell can we blame him? How the hell can we be angry with him? How the hell can we be frustrated? Loyalty in football works both ways. We all know our club lacks ambition. So why would any player want to stay as they're getting towards the latter end of their career? It makes absolutely no sense for Pogba to stay in the grand scheme of things. Where are you doing your stream from, mate? This is my back garden. That's where I'm streaming today. Going to finish jet washing the patio today. Going to have the barbecue cleaned. And getting geared up and ready for the summer. Terry, you agree we should bring Suarez to United? A free top-class striker would be perfect. No, I don't agree. I don't want Luis Suarez anywhere near Manchester United Football Club. One, for what he did to Patrice Evra. And as far as I'm aware, he's never apologised. So, nah. I don't care. I don't care how good he is. I want Luis Suarez. This is purely an emotional, moral, and integral decision. Don't want him anywhere near my club. Man like Steve Fately here says, "Hi Terry, I hope you are good. RIP Claude, I'm heartbroken as he has been a massive support to me and my channel since I first started shows. Shows the man he was." Yeah, listen, it's a weird evening for me last night, just sort of watching some of my old content with Claude. There's a clip that DT shared on his Twitter page. Me and Claude, maybe about nearly 2 years ago now, did a podcast series, by the way, that I want to bring back. Just me and him, I don't know, hour and a half long, just driving around in my car talking. So insightful, good laughs, some deep moments, some funny moments, and yeah, it was just eerie almost seeing it. I was a lot closer to Claude than I was Heavy D, but for both of those gents who both did that podcast, to be fair, to have passed on in this last sort of 3 or 4 months is so sad, and it just makes you realise and wake up and remember that you need to cherish every day, work hard every day, be close to your family as best you can. Repair relationships that are damaged that can be fixed. Don't allow things to fester, it's so important not to do that. And we're going to be having someone on the channel in the next day or so that will probably shock you all to see this person on the channel. But it's about mending bridges. People make mistakes in every direction, but beefs carrying on and arguments and fighting, and it's just not worth it. We don't know how short things, how sometimes you don't respect how tender and short life is until you lose someone lose someone that's close to you, or lose someone that's a bit of a figure. And yeah, very, very sad indeed. No, it's not Mark Goldbridge. Although I'd love to do a stream on Mark Goldbridge. I genuinely would. I haven't done one with him in years. And the other person I'd love to do a stream with is Stephen Howson. Just them two people. Never had a beef, by the way, with Stephen Howson. But I just love to have a stream with those two guys. Is Ed Woodward coming on the channel? I would love to interview Ed Woodward, but it would never happen because I would want to ask tough questions, and I don't think he would do it. I just don't think he'd do an interview like that. Like, I wouldn't be aggressive or horrible. I would just ask tough questions. Is it Zaha? Listen, Zaha's cool, bruv. Do you know what happens? People think I have an agenda against Zaha, or I don't. I just have certain standards that I adhere to. And if a player doesn't meet those standards, I put him in a particular category. But it isn't a disrespect. But, there we go. Smith, Jesus Christ, I haven't seen you on a stream for donkeys. How are you doing? Hope you are well. You're someone I've had crosswords with on socials a few times, but it's always been fairly amicable, I think. Timothy here says, seriously, I swear to God, if City get Haaland, I might give up on watching football. I feel physically ill just thinking about it. Now, that's a lovely segue. Listen, but it's all... My view is this. I want to say this in the right way. The more... It's hard for me because my club doesn't have the ambition to catch Man City. But the more they spend, the more it should motivate people. Because the more they spend, the better their team. If you beat them to trophies and tournaments, there's more to celebrate. They are going to become like Man United were for the majority of my lifetime. The team to beat, the team to hunt down, the team to dislike and despise. In a sporting sense, and it's all good. I don't look at City as ruining football. I don't look at City as doing anything damaging. And we've got to remember, the money they pump into the game eventually filters through. So if FFP completely goes and they start pumping in stupid amounts of money, that will filter into the other football clubs and will help people. Bring it on, I say. Bring it on. Dwayne Anderson says, positive energy to you and all in the chat. Top man. And that's what it's about, That is really what it's about, is positive energy. Because people are always looking for a beef. So I've had about maybe 20, 30 messages from people. Oh, bro, what happened with Bits and Bobs? Why did he leave? I'm not going to tell you the exact reasons he left because they are personal to him and what he's focused on. That's for him to say. But it was 110% amicable. There is zero beef, but people are like, oh, what's the beef? People are always looking for the negatives as opposed to the positives in anything. And it's sad, really. It's really sad that happens. It really is. Make sure you're smashing that like and that share button, people, this morning. Really important you do. Mr. Khan here. No, it's not Mr. Khan, sorry. Sharik, sorry, says, if we can't compete with them in the market, beat them at football, get the best coaches, the best players. If we can't do those things, it's hard for... they're not ruining it, though. This is the point. City are not in front of Man United because of the volume of money they've spent. They're in front of Manchester United because they operate better. They're in front of Chelsea right now because they have operated better. It's as simple as that. It's as simple and as straightforward as that for me. Terry, do you know there's a petition to get Claude a minute silence? Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that. Do you know what's interesting? Forget that he was on AFTV. Forget that he was a YouTuber. Like, I don't know how many years remember, 30, 40 years he watched them week in, week out. Football clubs should be honouring their fans that do that. They should be honouring their fans that do that. And I think it's absolutely right. I mean, the only problem is with there being a minute silence is it's only the players that will be doing it. The crowd are not there to do it. But there should be, I think there should be a mark of respect to long-serving fans that pass. I've seen clubs do similar things before, so I don't necessarily think it's out of the realms. And it was a really nice touch of Arsenal Football Club to tweet about him yesterday, I thought. Stephen here says, over £1,000 we've raised so far, started by Claude. Yeah, listen, Claude was a good guy with a good heart. Of course, he made mistakes like every other single human being did. But if you ever had the fortune of sitting with Claude, talking to Claude, socialising with Claude, as I did on a number, he was a nice bloke. The thing for me is, when someone makes a mistake, I judge them generally by the way they react to things, but also the intent behind what they do. And the one thing I'd say about Claude, I never saw any malice. Never saw any malice, and that for me is important. Let's do a few more comments here. Terry, Haaland is going to Chelsea. Well, listen, I still make Chelsea favourites. I still make Chelsea the favourites to sign him. Always have. And until something changes, until I see news states, there's two things that will make me change my mind. One, City signing him. That's obvious. But until there is a credible source that says City are willing to go beyond that 70, 80 million mark, only then will I turn around and be comfortable to say City are front runners. Because Chelsea will smash those records. Simple as that for me. Terry, should Man United sign Sal Niguez to replace Paul Pogba? That's the level of player United need to look at. They need to be looking at that level and above. They really do. And I'm not happy to settle for, yeah, but we can just play Donny. Great, but where's the depth gone? This is the point. It's people keep talking about, unless Anthony Martial says, play me as the 9 or I'm leaving, selling him is stupid. We need to build the strength of this squad out. We really, really do. Instead of Sal, we should get Llorente, is what Jonathan thinks. Who would take? Yeah, who would do that? Who would take? Just reply with Sal or reply with Llorente. Which of the two would you take? That's what I want to know. Red Devil Down Under says Claude on AFTV was my first exposure to fan channels. Smart bloke with a great energy. Such a shame. Absolutely, absolutely. He was the first person I watched on AFTV, and I remember just curling up on the sofa, crying, like gut-wrenching belly laughs. And when I got to meet and work with him, yeah, it was just a humbling experience. Take back Ioku. So far, we're seeing a lot more Sals than we're seeing Llorentes. A lot more Sals than Llorentes. CJ Legend says, Terry, morning. Thanks for the awesome content. No problem. And what I can promise you is this. I can't do the announcement now just because it's not official. But trust me, what we've got coming for you is going to be epic. It's going to be epic. 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 And the announcement in itself isn't the exciting bit. It's what's going to come after that. You're going to need to be a member, though. Membership's going to be so important to some of the things we've got coming. Some of the shows. The volume of shows we're going to have. The proper documentaries that we're going to be commissioned to make. I can't wait. Hopefully the United board will sack Ollie when United get eliminated from the Europa League semi-finals. I think United won't get the Champions League football next season. If they don't get Champions League football next season, Ollie will be sacked. Ollie will be sacked. James says, not all the content will be for members, but we are going to do a big focus on the Terrace with this after this announcement and in the new world we're moving into. We're going to be making some sort of proper member content, things that will be released early for members. There'll be at least 3 or 4 streams a week, which are member-only chats. We're really going to reward people that have got us to this position and beyond that as well. Terry, would you take Lucas Torreira? Do you know what, bruv? I really rate Lucas Torreira. I think he's a phenomenal and fantastic football player. So would I take him? I think I would. I'd take Jorginho from Chelsea. I think there are some players in this Premier League who are amazing that just haven't fulfilled their potential. I don't think Torreira wants to be in England, though, so that wouldn't happen. Jorginho, I'd love him at Man United. Michael Carrick 2.0. Terry, is it really that bad finishing second behind City? Depends on your standards, I suppose. It depends. And yes, you can join as a member for as little as 99p per month. There's some things about the announcement. So we've held back on launching a small clothing range. There's loads of things we've held back from doing in the last 3 or 4 months because I knew what was coming and I wanted to wait for this new world. And I'm very, very excited. I'm very, very excited. So, I'm so tempted to tell you all. I'm so tempted to tell you all right now. Thank you very much to Andre for signing up to the membership and James Brown for signing up to the membership as well. James Brown, love the name. Terry, morning. Have you heard that Liverpool are interested in getting Koulibaly for a cut price deal? I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, but if you signed Konate and Koulibaly, what does that mean? What does that mean for Gomez? What does that mean for Van Dijk? What does that mean for Quebec? That's the interesting thing of all of it. Does that tell us that there's something behind the scenes about those injuries that we don't know? Thank you, Narcs, for signing up and becoming an Academy member. Easter Eve announcement. Yes, we should have that. I've got another meeting today, actually. Can't wait. Yeah, but competition for places. So Van Dijk, Koulibaly, Gomez, Kabak, Konate, Ben Davis. I think it could work for a year. I think it could work for a year. I think it could work for the year. Kabak going back. So you don't think you'll sign Kabak full time? That'll be interesting. What about the PS5? Exactly. The PS5 competition, we never did it. We never did the draw. Obviously, to enter that, there was no. If we'd have taken super chats from people to enter, then of course we'd have done it, but we didn't. So we held back because we're going to be running a lot of competitions on the channel as things move forward. Terry, do you rate Thomas Partey? Yeah, I think he's a very good player. Knowing how good he is, and how well he's done in the Premier League are two different things for me. So far, I think we've seen 50-60% only of what Thomas Partey is capable of. And until we see it, hopefully we'll get to see it in its entirety soon. That's what I'm hoping. That is what I'm hoping for. Terry, I wish I had a pool in my garden. Damn, I would just be happy with a hot tub for me and the wife. Do you know what's interesting, mate? Like, success is really weird. Like, I don't look at myself as, oh, I'm the success, look at me. Like, that isn't how things are in my life. You know, I grew up on a council estate in a high-rise tower block. You know, my family were very poor the majority of my life, and I had a really good few years with work, some really good promotions, and YouTube was going well. I was just looking for a new house, and I randomly found a house with a swimming pool in it. It wasn't like I want a house with a pool, and it is lovely, and it is great. But it's like if I move somewhere else because of work or something and I don't have one, it's like it's not the end of the world. It's just a really nice bonus. But there are some days in the summer when I was in there with the kids just playing, and it was like, for me as an individual, the volume of sacrifice and hours and dedication and risks that I've taken to get myself to where I am in life is great. But I always look at that as a foundation and say, right, but now I want more because, you know, I want to secure the kids' future. I want my kids to never have the same financial worries I had as an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old. Do you know what I mean? Living paycheck to paycheck. You know, I then want to like do stuff that can help. And that part of this announcement that's coming out, the hope is over a 2 or 3 year period to really take some of my nearest and dearest in, so they've got jobs and they're employed. And that's all I really strive for, really, is to be able to provide. And you know what, like when it comes to buying a nice home, it's not to say, oh, look what I've got. It's to leave a legacy to my kids and grandchildren. That's kind of what it is for me. Of course, there's fun elements to it, but the whole process is securing my family's. My mantra is this in life. My grandparents had nothing, but they taught my dad work ethic. My dad gave me a little bit more than what he had financially and opportunity-wise than he got from his parents because of life, but he taught me work ethic. I've now, in my view, taken it to my family to that next level financially, what I'm going to instill into my children is to take the family to the level beyond that again, and it keeps growing. I think that way over 4 or 5 generations, you can take your family from the breadline and poverty to an era of relative success where life's a little more comfortable, you know. And you know, there's a saying that someone said to me once. No, they didn't. I heard it on Only Fools and Horses, where someone said money isn't everything, but Del Boy responded with it. Well, it certainly takes a sting out of being poor, and it stuck with me forever. And I'm not rich. I'm not rich in that conventional sense at all. Nowhere near it. But yeah, thank you for the compliment. You know, I'm proud of what I've achieved and what my family's helped me to achieve, and it's onwards and upwards from there. And it's just about not wanting to. I respect where I'm from. I'm humble with it, and you know, I'm watching a show at the minute called Save Me on Sky One. It's about a girl that goes missing. It's based in like sort of the Bermondsey, Millwall, South London kind of area. And just seeing people in the local pubs on the housing estate, it reminds me of where I grew up. It's like when I watch Top Boy, it reminds me of growing up as a kid. And I respect that environment where I came from. Do I want my children to grow up there? No, I want them to have better opportunities, get into better schools, be away from the crime and the temptations that I was around. But I respect it, and they will be brought up to respect it and understand what it's like to be like full-on working class and, you know, limited opportunities. And I think that, you know, I appreciate your praise, and as I say, I don't look at myself like I ain't fucking Elon Musk. I'm not some sort of billionaire entrepreneur that the world should listen to, that everyone's gonna like listen to my every word. I don't think that about myself for one single second. But like like these moments is when I feel like, you know what, I made the right decisions and I sacrificed the right things, and you know, and everything else. So yeah, thank you, appreciate that. Thank you. Only Fools and Horses got me through this pandemic. Hours of listen. Only Fools and Horses is such a good comedy. Such a good comedy. Love it. I love it for so many reasons as well. It's funny. It's sad. It's romantic. It's brilliant. But I think again, growing up on a council estate, there's so many characters in the show that I just grew up around. You know, there were so many wheeler dealers. Like we used to have a guy that used to every 2 weeks he'd just pull into one of the car parks in the estate, and he'd open his boot and he'd have all these different trainers. And he said, like, remember when I was a kid, 30, 40 pound for trainers was a lot of money, but he'd have like he'd have the best trainers available, and they'd be like, yeah, 15 quid. But I don't know where he got them from. I didn't care, but it was those sort of things happened all the time, and it was just like I would honestly say, growing up as kids, half the stuff in our house was stolen. Like you buy it from someone. Like I remember my dad, when he started his business, he got a printer and a computer and a photocopier and stuff because he needed it. And I was like, 100%, that's dodge. 100% you bought that off someone who bought it off someone who bought it off someone that stole it off the back of a lorry. But that's just how life was. There was a guy called Mick the Meat that used to go into the local pubs because meat's expensive, right? But you'd pay him, like say like a big lamb roasting joint was like 20 quid. You'd pay him like 5, 6, 7 quid, and then he'd come back with it. He'd just go in the supermarket and nick it and then come back and give it to you for that money. And it's just how it is. It's just how it was. And it's just how life was growing up. But I loved it. But that kind of what gave me the motivation to like hustle and work and everything else. But I do miss living in London though. I do miss living in London. And recently, there's a takeaway that opened up near me that does like proper fried, what I call dirty fried chicken. And I've had it too many times. I've got to slow down a bit now. I've got to watch out for like my health. But it was so nice. It just takes me back to living in East. I miss it, man. Terry, is your wife a big part of your success? My partner, I'm not married to the lady I live with now. Like that's so not my wife, but yes, 100%, because she picks up a lot of the slack with the kids, and it kind of keeps things on an even keel so that I can focus on work, and that's just a balance that we have. But like, I like strong women, so no, you don't have to apologise. It's fine. It's cool. But like, I also need people in my life that keep me in my place. So If I get too obsessed with work, they drag me away. If I get too hell bent on I have to be. I like being humbled by people, and I need that. So I need strong people around me. So that's the best thing. It's as simple as that. I need to be humbled, and I need to be told to shut my mouth at the right times. So I need strength around me. I can't be with weak. I can't be with soft people or shrinking violets. That's no good for me. I need to be told straight. Hush your mouth. Terry's being pegged. All right, mate. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Terry, do you still do a daytime job, or is YouTube your full-time thing? Wait for the announcement. Wait for the announcement. Wait for the announcement. That's what I'm going to say. What's this one here say? Terry, did you get a degree? No, I didn't. I didn't go to university. I didn't have that opportunity. So I just didn't have that opportunity. I had to go into full-time work at 16. And that was it. But that's life. You crack on and move forward. That's how things go. When's the announcement? Hopefully Thursday, if not Friday. It really depends on when I'm told I'm allowed to do it. But I can't wait. Look, you can see the excitement running through me. What's this? You're going to fumble on a stream if you're not careful. No fumbling here. Would you even think about going to college in future? Do you know what? I nearly did that about 2.5, 3 years ago. I was going to apply to study for a degree. And that's when I was at a crossroads around, do I pursue my banking career further and move to that next level? Or do I focus on the YouTube side of things? And that's kind of what I focused on. But yeah, I would. I think I would. It'd be nice to... It's interesting, really, because I looked into doing sort of a business degree. And I looked at the kind of course. And the advantages, because of my experience in business, I understand a lot of it. So it'd be... What I was intrigued by, I don't know how hard or how easy it would be. My assumption is it's going to be hard. But I think when you've done a job for a certain while, it's easier to study it, because you're going to understand lots. It's not going to be. I'm not going to be learning things that are new to me. They're going to be things that I've already gone through. So yeah, I think I will do at some point when I have the time and whatnot to do it. Terry, in his grandpa mood, talking about his younger days in the backyard. True. Listen, I have a vision for that one day. The Football Terrace has a show, and it's my children that are hosting it. And I'm sort of sitting on a lazy boy recliner in the background, and every now and then they come to me for an opinion. I'm just sort of sitting there, little whiskey in my hand, just slippers on, just chilling, listening to them do their thing. It's probably never going to happen, but that's like my dream, for me to sit there. But you know, you get like Jack Whitehall and his dad, like something like that. Like I'm in the background there, my three, Jacko, Lady Freya, and of course Master Archie Flewers, like running the show, and like that would be great. That makes you see the smile on my face just thinking about it. Yeah. Is that a pool? Yes, that is my swimming pool. Yes, that is my pool. Terry, what's your star sign? Sagittarius. Terry, I'm Polish and English, and it's England versus Poland today. Well, then you're a winner, innit? Then you win regardless, bro. It's like my son, my oldest boy Archie. He's English and Irish, so when England play Ireland, it's always fun with me and him, and he's getting into sport now, so it's going to get even better. It's going to be even better. There we go. Listen, everyone who's tuned in this morning, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. A big show this afternoon. I've got to confirm the guest, but it could be a shocker for you, but in a good way. Listen, until next time, thank you for all the super chats. Everyone who's new that signed up to a membership today. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless.